So yesterday you all wrote a writing plan. Today we're going to use that writing plan to write a story. So I've got my plan down here in the corner, and I'm going to be writing on this Google Doc. I want you all to handwrite your story on the paper we gave to you, but it's easier for me to be able to see the plan and the story, and for you to see the story when I do it this way. So the first thing is I'm going to give my story a title. I could just say, Connor hurt his arm, but that wouldn't be a very exciting title. So I'm going to write, accidents happen, because that seems to be a theme in our lives right now. I don't know if you all knew, but last week Connor cut his finger and had to get 4 stitches. And then this week he hurt his arm. I'm wondering if we need to put him in a bubble. So we're going to go ahead and start writing our story. I'm going to look at my beginning to help me with my story. Connor and I were both feeling very anxious. I like that as a beginning sentence, but I want the readers to relate to my story. I want you all as my audience to be able to relate. So I'm going to add a hook or another sentence at the beginning to help the readers to understand what I'm writing and to relate to what I'm writing. So I'm going to say, have you ever gotten very hurt before? Connor and I were both feeling anxious as we headed to the orthopedic doctor's office yesterday morning. So that puts my characters and how they felt, and it puts my setting and description because it tells where we were going and when we were going there. My arm won't go all the way straight, Mom, Connor said as we were rushing to get to the parking lot. Earlier this week, now I'm moving on to my middle. So I've got my hint to significant event and all of my beginnings, so now I'm moving to the middle. Earlier this week, Connor was pretending to be a stunt man and was doing tricks on his scooter. He fell off his scooter during one trick and landed right on his elbow. Ouch! His elbow had been sore for 2 days. His elbow had been sore for 2 days. Sometimes I have to reread what I write to make sure that I'm saying what I want to say. Have you ever gotten very hurt before? Connor and I were both feeling very anxious as we headed to the orthopedic doctor's office yesterday morning. My arm won't go all the way straight, Mom, Connor said as we were rushing to get to the parking lot. Earlier this week, Connor was pretending to be a stuntman and was doing tricks on his scooter. He fell off his scooter during one trick and landed right on his elbow. Ouch! His elbow had been sore for 2 days. When we finally decided it was time to take him to the doctor. The doctor did x-rays, or took, I guess he took x-rays, he didn't do x-rays, took x-rays of the bones in his arm, in his hurt arm, and the bones in his healthy arm to compare them. Based on those x-rays, the doctor confirmed that Connor broke a piece of bone off his elbow. Yikes! The doctor put him in a splint to keep the bones in place. Not in palace. What am I thinking? When you make a mistake in your writing, just mark it out and write above it. I can delete mine, but I want you to just mark it out. Just like in the draft book that we do that, I just want mark it out and write the correct one above it, and that's fine. We all make mistakes. It happens. The doctor put him in a splint to keep the bones in place and not in palace. That would make sense. The splint wrapped around his arm from his shoulder down to his wrist. Wrist. Such a weird word because it starts with a W. It doesn't sound like it starts with a W. Alright, so I've got my middle. I put a lot of details into my story in the middle, and I tried to add a lot of different punctuation marks in there. We were still anxious as we left the doctor's office because we don't know what will happen next. But what we do know is that Connor will be learning how to use a pencil and computer with a cast on. And we hope he will be more careful doing tricks from now on. And that's my story. Now, I have done the drafting part of my story. Remember when we talk about writing, we do our plan, then we do our draft. The next step is that you're going to go through your story and you're going to revise and edit and add to your story and make it even better. You're going to make sure you include descriptive words, which we'll talk about later this week. And then even later this week, you're going to have the chance to share your story with your classmates by making a flip grid. It's going to be really fun. So I cannot wait to read your stories and hear you read your stories, actually, later this week. Work really hard. Writing is hard. It can be tricky. But also writing is exciting because when we become better writers, we become better readers, and others get to see a glimpse into who we are. Good luck on your story. Can't wait to hear all about them. See you soon.